that ball off the board. Swings it to Gino and now to Ryan Greenwood.
Come on, Tats! Come on, Tats! I couldn't wait to get to the next year because we had so many players returning, and we had guys that I knew were going to really go to work in the off season and improve their skills and get stronger in the weight room. And we had great leadership on the team, and it was just everything that had happened in '94. Just made it exciting to think about what might happen in '95.
Back to Trent, goes into the lane, kicks it out for a Gino three, right on the money.
This is the Convocation Center in Athens, Ohio, home of the Ohio University Bobcats, the premier basketball program in the Mid-American Conference. This building has seen some incredible sights over the past couple of years, as Larry Hunter's teams have put together 2 20-win seasons in a row and made 2 consecutive appearances in the postseason. Hello everyone, I'm Frank Robertson, and coming up, we're going to take an inside look at the 1994-95 basketball season, one of incredible accomplishment and yet disappointment over lofty goals and expectations not met. It was a year for an NIT championship and a career-ending injury. It was a year for national rankings and a semifinal departure from the MAC tournament. It was thrilling, frustrating, intense, and captivating all at the same time. With 4 starters back, including 2-time MAC MVP Gary Trent, Larry Hunter had tremendous cause to view his opener not only as a great opportunity to serve notice around the state, but a chance for his defending conference champs to make a splash around the country. The ride began November 16th, St. John Arena in Columbus, Ohio and Ohio State in the first round of the preseason NIT.
Well, I think it was one of the biggest setups I've ever been involved in almost 25 years of college coaching. Just everything was staged for us to, people thought we would just go in there and have no trouble beating Ohio State at Ohio State, and that is a big, danger sign goes up when you see that as a coach. Our guys were ready to play the season. We wanted to get started. Again, I think that maturity, that leadership we had was really key in that ball game. And we didn't start out very well. And, good thing we had that spurt right there at the end of the first half, and in the second half we were just able to keep it going and hang on and get a win and get out of there. We didn't play particularly well, but we got a win on the road against a Big Ten team, Ohio State, at Ohio State. We were happy with the win at Ohio State, but after that game, traveling the next day, I can remember we had a meeting that next night in Charlottesville, Virginia, in a motel room, and it was late at night, and I think it was one of the, you look back, one of those key meetings that may have impacted your season in a big way, and I think that was one of those, because it was really gut check time from my perspective, even though it was only the second ball game of the year and you're coming off a win. Because we really hadn't played very well. We mentally weren't where we had to be to go into a Virginia and even be competitive. And my thinking was, after the Ohio State ball game, was that our heads were so much up in an area where they shouldn't be that we were going to get our clocks clean pretty good. And we needed to win, but we needed also to compete and play to our potential and show the nation what kind of a basketball program we had become. And I didn't have a feeling coming off the Ohio State win that we were anyways near close to being that way mentally. The start of the Virginia game, I think I was astounded. We played with tremendous precision and execution for a second ball game of the year. We had such understanding of the game, and we played as remarkably well as a team. We had people come off the bench and pick us up in situations and make key baskets. We handled their great pressure. We weren't out physical, and they were a very physical basketball team. Just, it was just a fun game to sit there and watch. One of those as a coach where, you sit there and you just take a deep breath at some point, and you look up there and we were 15 or 20 up, and you go, wow, man, we might be for real. I think the big play of that game, as I look back on it, was Curtis Simmons. Curtis Simmons hit a big basket for us. Got an offensive rebound and somehow willed it back in the basket, and And that was a big play in that game, a big turning point back in our favor. And then our guys had the poise to go ahead and get the job done and finish it and do what they had to do to find a way to win. And that, to me, sent me a heck of a message, which we talked about after the game. That, hey guys, you can come into Virginia in this kind of an environment against this caliber of a basketball team that at that time I think in some polls was ranked as high as 12th or even in the top 10. You know, you're good enough to play with about anybody in the country. Now, don't be satisfied here. Let's go to Madison Square Garden, not be awed, take that same poise and composure, same aggressiveness and intensity and execution, and get the job done in Madison Square Garden.
If there is anything less appealing than getting stuck in an elevator with 13 basketball players who haven't showered after practice, this reporter is not aware of what it is. After practicing for the NIT on Tuesday, the Ohio Bobcats got into a freight elevator to leave the gym, and not noticing the weight limit on the door, the elevator got stuck for an hour. There wasn't a lot of air, said Coach Larry Hunter. We were locked in there like sardines. The ordeal finally ended when 6 players climbed out of a hatch in the ceiling and rode the elevator to safety. Claustrophobic teenagers on the next Oprah. If you tune into ESPN, on the other hand, Wednesday, watch the aromatically challenged Bobcats take on GW in the NIT semis.
As I look back, I can honestly say that after the GW game, looking at our guys in our post-game meeting, seeing their eyes, seeing the focus, I knew we were going to play well in the finals. I didn't know if we were going to win it, but I knew we were going to be a handful for New Mexico State.
George Washington is really, really a nice basketball team. Okay, the last 10, 12 minutes of the ball game was just all mental toughness. One more thing, man. We're going to enjoy tomorrow. We still got to get ready for, you know, a good New Mexico State team. But we came here to win. We came here to win. We want to put a championship banner, an NIT championship banner up in the convo.
Amen to that, brother.
That's going to make a statement. Okay? Come here to finish the job, and then we'll go celebrate after that.
Your shit get banged up anymore.
Hey, it's Gus Johnson from the OU Bobcats. We're in New York City. We're checking out the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Just having a good time on Thanksgiving, you know. Probably a lot of family out there. Of course, we're not with our family, but hey, our team's a family and we're together and we're going to enjoy this day, have a good day of preparation, and then, you know, go with tomorrow and win the tournament and go back to Athens.
Let's get the legs loose. Get the legs loose. Don't let the ball get away from you, Andy. It's way to work, Gary Trent. It's way to work. Boy, Mike Reese. You don't have to be quick, JT. You have to think quick. You got that? Good. Let's go to work. Go to work. Do the little things. Bad pass, Jimmy. Bad pass. Hustle.
We got this far. You finished the job. Okay? It's just like the other night. I compliment you on that. You got in a battle, what you do with good teams. You're not going to run away and hide from anybody. Play smart and tough and hard. Let's go. Let's go.
Go. Go. Good.
The way we had been progressing throughout the NIT tournament, we had been getting better and better and better. Our execution, our togetherness, our intensity. I just had a good feeling we were going to come to play on Friday night in the finals. That was a big-time performance by Gary Trent. And, you know, he comes off of a game, and I think this is important to understand. He came off a game against GW where, by his standards, he didn't play exceptionally well. And he told his teammates afterward, hey, thanks, men, for you guys carrying me and getting us to the finals. I'm going to be a little bit better, you know, in the finals. And wow, was he. And, you know, how can you ever, you know, have a performance where you don't miss a field goal, 12 for 12, He has 33 points, 20 rebounds, sets an NIT record with rebounding, and just would not let us lose. And we had several guys like that, but he was the main one.
We're reaching for the top. No limit to what we can do. And all together, me and you, we're gonna see it through somehow. We're reaching for the top. The goal is set, we're pressing on to greater heights and well beyond. Levels we've never been before. We're reaching for the top.
Personally, I can't recall any emotions that I had other than just great excitement and great feeling for our team, and certainly I felt a sense of great pride for what we'd accomplished and for Ohio University to be in that position, because that means so much to me. But I was thinking about Kentucky.
Coaches never really relax. And as Larry Hunter and his team brought the NIT trophy back to Athens, it was time to look ahead. Ranked 14th in the country, Ohio headed to Lexington to take on what Hunter regarded as Rick Pitino's best Kentucky team yet. Rupp Arena, November 30th, and yet another opportunity to break down the door to the top 10.
One of the great places to play college basketball in America. 24,000 people, tremendous atmosphere. Great people. The fans there have great feel for basketball, for college basketball, for the enthusiasm, the atmosphere. And I think our guys wanted to make that statement that yes, we are the preseason NIT champs. We aren't done yet. We still want to make another statement. We want to come in here and beat Kentucky at Kentucky. We had done a great job of staying in the ball game and for the most part keeping the crowd out of the game. And when they did have some spurts and runs in their favor, we gathered our poise and would make some big plays and get right back in it. And I recall just right at the 1 minute mark, or maybe a little bit over a minute to go, they had used all their timeouts, and we had an opportunity with a three-point shot to take the lead. And I think had that shot gone in, which it did in the finals of the NIT. Jeff Bowles hit a big three-pointer, as did Gus Johnson in crucial situations there when we were down. But had that shot gone in, I think we really had a chance to beat them because the momentum would have completely swung in our favor. We didn't. They hung on and got the win, but I was just so proud of the team from the character perspective. We just, again, demonstrated so much heart and character as a team in our togetherness. And we walked off the court with great disappointment. And that would surprise some people, that we weren't just happy to go into Kentucky and play well and have a chance to be in a ball game in the last 30 seconds and maybe have a chance to beat them. Our guys were genuinely distraught and hurt in the locker room, and there were some tears. And to me, that was another really, really good sign that some special things could happen for this team.
Despite the losses at Kentucky and Iowa, the Bobcats were still ranked 19th in the nation. Ohio traveled to Cincinnati for a mid-December appointment with the Xavier Musketeers at the Gardens. Through the years, these two teams had met more than 30 times, but no previous game could have been more important than the one on December 17th. Ohio had its national TV audience on ESPN and its second golden opportunity to make a statement from coast to coast.
We walked into the Lion's Den, and it's like we were looking right down the barrel of that musket with the the hammer cocked. And Xavier was a senior-dominated basketball team. They had 6 seniors, 5 senior starters, and they were out to really make a statement in that particular ball game. I think it's the largest crowd in the Garden, the non-conference game that they've ever had. in Cincinnati. So it was a great atmosphere. The Musketeers on that particular night were a very impressive basketball team and had us down double digits a number of times, and we fought back in the second half and got it to as close as 1 point, and then they pulled away again and won fairly handily. But you know, it was a good old thrashing. I analyze it this way. I think when you're the new player on the block, and you know, we'd gotten ranked as high as 14th, but anytime we would have stumbled and had a loss, we were going to tumble considerably, basically no matter who the opponent. And you know, now we had lost to Kentucky. People could understand that at Rupp Arena. They could understand maybe a loss to Iowa at Iowa, and you consider the fatigue factor. But now you have your third loss in less than 10 games. And even though it was another, in my opinion, another top 25 type of team because of their senior veterans, you know, you're going to tumble. And that loss probably hurt us some. But we would have had to play an exceptional game to beat Xavier on that particular night. I don't usually have an awareness of, you know, the magnitude of the crowd or the surroundings once, you know, it's game time and I walk out on the court. But that particular night, I do remember just glancing up and around the court and just seeing that place pretty well filled. You know, I had an inner smile.
Jason Terry posted inside.
That's a great rivalry, and I hope we're able to continue that West Virginia-Ohio University rivalry into the future because of the closeness of the schools, the caliber of institutions. You know, it's a good matchup. And we had lost a heartbreaker up there a year ago, you know, in Morgantown, and our guys, you know, wanted to make a statement that you know, that we could beat you know, West Virginia, and we had them here at home, and that was our opportunity, and our guys took advantage of it, fortunately. My biggest recollections about the Duquesne game were one that we went into that game a little frustrated, not because of the opponent or what we were doing. It was because of Gary Trent's injury. Gary Trent had that abdominal muscle strain. He'd suffered through the NIT, those early ball games, and played through it. And we, as the middle of December progressed, we were pretty well getting him back to normal health, and he was healing up. And then we had the almost a week of break, you know, for Christmas, and we played Duquesne just before New Year's. So we, you know, when he came back to practice after Christmas, he was feeling as good as he had since September, and we were excited about that because of his movement, his quickness, his explosiveness was all back, his dunking. And lo and behold, at the end of that first practice back after Christmas, he re-injures that muscle strain worse than it had been before. But our guys did respond, and you know, and again, our guys just we weren't about to let down after what we'd accomplished before Christmas. We wanted to get ourselves, make sure we went into the Ball State game, in the first conference opener, on a win. That was very important to us, and that was our focus in that game.
It was the most demanding non-conference schedule in Ohio basketball history. A dozen games that featured a trip to the top of New York and a look at the bottom in that loss to Xavier. At 9-3 and out of the top 25 after that setback in Cincinnati, it was time for Larry Hunter's club to wade into a demanding Mid-American Conference schedule and reestablish its league domination. First up, always tough Ball State in front of a friendly home crowd at the Convo.
Ball State was no easy opponent. You know, they had some real veteran key players back, and especially at the inside positions, and that was a major concern. Had a great crowd. I think it was over close to 10,000 people again, and a very enthusiastic crowd. And you know, we didn't play pretty, but we were able to get a good win. If I had to say something about that, I was pleased that I was able to accomplish that with this particular basketball team because of how special that they are to me.
Let's go, Redskins!
We just really struggled in the first half. We regrouped a little bit, being 10 down, I think, at halftime, and really played much better defense in the second half, but we just weren't able to recover enough to win the ball game, and that was a tough loss for us.
You won't win a championship unless you have that pizzazz. You can't go on the road when somebody's going to give you everything they got and not play with that kind of toughness. We played soft, especially the first half. Second half was a little bit better, but the first half, man, we played very, very soft. We didn't appear to be the most physically strong. In fact, it was very much the other way. And we didn't play with great purpose or execution.
Coming off the Miami game, as I mentioned, it was a gut check time, and we had some difficult practices. Those kind of practices which you close the doors and you go back to work and you go back to the fundamentals and you try to prepare yourself mentally for what you have to do to play in a tough conference race. And now we're playing catch up, and we still have that big bullseye on our chest. And we just had to get back to focus in on improving as a basketball team and having that same kind of focus we had against the Ohio States and Virginias and Kentuckys and Iowas and those kind of people, and against people in our conference. And this was a good test for us. And again, we weren't real pretty, but we took a step in the right direction, back in a positive direction with the Kent win.
Fun to see you play that hard, and I thought our bench really contributed. If you look right up here, did we play hard? Boy, we played hard. Got right after it. I thought, our defense down here was just outstanding. The pressure was really disruptive to them, and you're getting everybody's best shot, man.
That's one of those games as people would look at your schedule before the season and target as a key game because they had 8 seniors and they were preseason picked to be one of the top teams in the conference, and they had some name players, so the stage was set for an excellent basketball game. Jimmy comes off the bench and gets us 9 points, 3 big threes. I think send us in the locker room and with the lead and really helped propel us onto that win. This particular game, things happened to go our way. It was a seesaw game. We'd had a good first half. They came right back at us in the second half and even got the lead within the last few seconds. As I recall, Curtis Simmons hit 2 big free throws to give us a 1-point lead, and then with 4 seconds to go, we missed 2 free throws again, and they have another shot to win it. And, as I recall, I even looked down at the floor. I didn't want to see if it was going to go in or not. And fortunately, it didn't this time, and we walked off the court's winners.
Off that back plate, another board, Gary Trent. Trent too early here in the second half. Trent will pull up and knock down that 14-foot jumper.
Our guys were bound determined we were going to win that ball game, and we got off to a great start, and we had a 15-point plus lead, I think, at halftime, and really played, again, one of our finer halves of basketball for the year in that first half at Western Michigan. Put ourselves in a great position and then basically took care of business in the second half and came away with a really great road victory.
Got to keep them off the boards, keep them out away from the basket. Post defense is very, very key down there.
Gino Ford in a press in the backcourt. Gets it to Terry. Terry to Reese, and Reese over the timeline. 11-8, the Eagles by 3. Into Terry, out to Reese. He'll launch a 3. Bingo! Mike Reese scores the 3, the second of the game for the Bobcats, and we're even.
We in the program, from the inside out, knew that this was going to be a very challenging game for us because of their athleticism as a team. They had some real experience. They're well coached, and that's a tough place to go play as well. I guess the turning point was that we lost Jeff Bowles. In that first half, Jeff goes down with a severe knee injury. He's lost for the year, and that really impacted our basketball team and our season. And as I recall, we had a lead at halftime.
You have to work. You know, they have at least 5 basket men, no kidding, because we jogged down the floor, we didn't turn around, we didn't get set, and we didn't realize what was going on. And they either threw it to the basket and stuck it in, or they beat us to the offensive board, or they drove right through 2 or 3 people and got a layup. And we can't let those happen. Make them earn their baskets. One of the keys up here, no easy baskets. Okay? When we do that, man, we don't get beat. You have to understand that. And the last thing I'm going to say to you, man, is, okay, this is one of those games, I'm not trying to use any motivational tactic, but Jeff Bowles, one of our seniors, he has given his whole heart and soul and body to this program. Okay? It's killing him to be laying over there. And I don't think he's going to be back, man. It's an ACL tear, it's a partial tear. I don't know. You know, if anybody will come back, it's him, but it's going to be a while. I don't think he'll make it back. You suck it up, you dedicate yourselves from this point forward, not only to yourselves, but to that young man, to suck it up and get it done and win him another championship. That's all I got to say. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
And we just didn't play well the second half, and they did, and they beat us up there. And now we have to really go back, as we learned that we don't have Jeff any longer, and really restructure basically, you know, our substitutions and our basketball team a little bit, because Jeff was so valuable to us.
Tickets, who needs tickets? Got 2 more?
Tremendous atmosphere, you know, sellout crowd plus, and just a great atmosphere, but a lot of distractions from a coaching standpoint with our basketball team. And you know, Miami is a good basketball team, and we knew that coming into the game. We knew we'd have to play one of our better games of the year to beat them, and to their credit, you know, they came in here again and beat us. Of course, they were at the top of the standings, so there's just a lot of reasons why we needed to win that ball game, and we just weren't able to get it accomplished. Going up to Kent State's never been an easy place for Ohio University to play, and I was pleased with our performance up there in some areas, and especially late in the game in the second half. Gary Trent had a big second half for us, and we were able to come out of there with a win. We were regrouping with the loss of Jeff Bowles, and you know, we're trying to find ourselves again, and it's amazing how when you take one key player out of your mixture of your basketball team, how it disrupts everybody else. And you know, people are trying to step forward, maybe do a little bit too much. They're stepping out of playing within their comfort zone, if you will, and we're still trying to find ourselves. Our chemistry is not as good as it was, and you know, our package is, we're emphasizing different things within the package to take advantage of other people's skills, and all of these things are going on behind the scenes in terms of getting ready to play these particular games. And again, we did not have a real good defensive effort like you need against a good opponent on the road. We got ourselves playing catch up, and we got beat again. We went away from our basic man-to-man defense, which we were playing, you know, 85 to 90% of the time, to playing more of our matchup zone. And we just felt like we had to make a change to maybe help keep our people out of foul trouble, namely Gary at the basket, and to make people start attacking us a little bit differently. And maybe to take advantage of Jason Terry's size a little bit more without getting him in foul trouble. And it was good for us. We played it surprisingly well for not having practiced it that much. We gained some real confidence in that defense that particular day. And Jason really responded. I think he had a number of block shots in the first half and ended up with 9 for the game. It was a real factor in that ball game with his defense at the basket.
Guys, that'll make Jeff Bowles smile and be happy as hell. He's been in a lot of pain the last week, but I'll tell you what, that's making him a happy man right now. I'm proud as the devil of you, man. You responded. You dug down deep, and we talked about character and pride all year long, and you know, for a couple years, and you displayed it. And you beat a good basketball team that was playing very, very well that came in here.
we're at the point in our season now where we do not want to just hand the championship, regular season championship, to Miami. We're 2 games back, but there's still a glimmer of hope. But for that to happen, we have to pretty well strike out, and we have to have some help. And you know, anything can happen, and there's still a couple weeks to go in the season. So you know, we just had to continue to put the pressure on them by continuing to win and let them know that we're still hanging around. If you stumble, we're going to be there to take advantage of the situation. And we're also trying ourselves to position ourselves in the conference tournament as best we can with the best draw we can have, and to gain momentum going into postseason play. Gary broke the Ohio University career rebounding mark and went over 1,000 rebounds in his career, and did it just in three years, which is just short of phenomenal. And he's edging in on 2,000 points at this point too for his career. But you know, what a phenomenal career he's having at this point, and he's doing it within the team framework, which is what makes me very, very pleased and happy that he's a great one. And Mike Reese also in this particular ball game, we might mention, had 11 assists. Anytime you can have double-digit assists, it's pretty phenomenal. At this point, I think because of an injury to Gus Johnson, we've moved Mike back into our starting lineup. And so again, we're having to regroup because of injuries, and Mike's responding pretty well with some pretty solid play.
That was a fun second half. Fun second half. It's fun to compete like that and see you getting after people like that. And wasn't very smart what I did, and especially when you guys got the ball. It's just not very smart. I lost my composure there for about 2 minutes. You guys came right back, and you just, boy, you got after him defensively, and just right on down the line. Gary much better the second half. You really fought it. JT, you had a whale of a ball game. Mike Reese, you were just outstanding out there. You really were. Thank you, Mike.
I think our guys were in a mindset here that we didn't want to lose the season series to anybody, and we lost already twice to Miami, so we didn't want that to happen to Eastern Michigan, because now this might be important to selection committees when they're selecting a second team into the NCAA tournament, or possibly even into the NIT tournament. And just from a pride perspective, we didn't want to lose at home, and we needed to beat Eastern Michigan. And our guys came ready to play, and again, the matchup zone, I think, was a factor in that ball game, and we played very, very good defense, and we had solid offensive contributions from a lot of people, and we were able to come out of there with a good win. We've just taken great pride in winning at home and what we're doing with our program, and the people here at the university, our university community, the Athens area people, and people in southeastern Ohio, and our alums all contribute to get us over 100,000 people for the season. And we still have several home games to go, but I think at this point we're over 102,000, and that makes us average out a little over 8,000 people per game, and when you consider we have half our season without students, that's pretty good attendance. We knew Bonzi was pretty good. We just didn't quite realize he was as good as he performed on that particular Saturday. Bonzi had a great ball game. He had 13 rebounds along with 40 points, which was a new arena record over there in Muncie, and we just, to be honest with you, couldn't guard him. He shot it in over us. When we would go out and guard him, he'd step back a little bit farther and shot it in. He took it around us and scored at the basket, and he stepped up and showed why he was going to be freshman of the year in the American Conference this last season.
Come on, guys! Come on, guys! Thought 54 got fouled on the shot down there. See yourself in a stance, see yourself screening out, run the floor. That's not even close to being a shooting foul. Yes. Okay, get it in Gary's hands. He's going to get it up. Or get it into JT inside. You haven't handled it at the basket yet. Gary, they're helping to you, so you might dribble, duck it. Just go by him and play. JT, at the high post, dribble. Dribble to the basket. Dribble from the high post. You're all right, man. Don't panic. Don't panic. You keep fighting it. Fight it off. Somebody give us another spark of enthusiasm. Emotionally try to get together, okay? Play off of each other a little bit. Get excited for each other. Today's the day you have to work at that. Slap 5 out there, point to each other, get in a team focus. We're a little bit this way, but you can pull right together. When you do, you'll come. Let's go. Let's go. Stay positive with each other. Yes! Yes! Everybody, Curtis! Where's the foul on the shooter? Where's the foul on the shooter? Where's the offensive foul? Make the comeback, guys. Climb it, climb in it. That's the best stance we've been in. Come on, guys. Rebound. Yeah, it's out, baby. Come on, Cats. Good job out there. Good job, Cats. Good job. Think. I gotta move. I gotta go pick. I gotta move. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Keep rebounding. Nice job, Coach. Boy, you played well. Good job out there. Good job, man. Good job, man. Good job.
At 22-8, Ohio was not destined to enter the MAC postseason tournament, seeded number 1. But a 13-5 league record was good enough to land a quarterfinal on the home floor against Western Michigan. 12-1 in the convo, the Cats opened defense of their tournament championship, determined to reassert themselves and secure a second consecutive trip to the show, the NCAA Field of 64.
Let's just cut loose now. The regular season's over. We're not playing for anybody but ourselves. And we don't have to prove anything to anybody. We've regrouped. Gus is, still not completely healthy. We don't have Jeff. That's the reality of the situation. You other people, let's just do the best we can and finish with great pride. And that's the way we played that game. We just wanted to go out and have some fun, play the kind of basketball that's Ohio University basketball with great enthusiasm, tremendous intensity, and it's fun to watch. Get on the floor, get after people, play good defense, rebound, and if you have fun, the fans are going to have fun. And that was our whole goal in that particular ball game, and that's basically what happened. I really felt like we were going to play well, and that we were going to have to be a team to be reckoned with in that Final Four, and because of what had happened earlier in the year, the way we'd responded in big games, and I thought we were, after the Western Michigan game, we were in that very confident, hungry mindset, and I think we were. That's the way we took the floor, and it's just one of those games as we started playing and the game unfolded that sometimes you have games where you can't adapt to the way the game's being officiated, and that in no way is a response that officiating cost us the ball game. We just, on that particular night, never got in a comfort zone of how we had to play at both ends of the floor to keep a flow going, and we just never really established any kind of flow in that ball game. We just struggled and weren't able to win.
Hey, what about this, Digger? Shocks me. I mean, right now, Georgia Tech did not get in. Ohio University won the preseason NIT, did not get in. And Iowa didn't get in. Unbelievable. Hey, George Washington's out as well.
I really believe that we deserve to be in the NCAA tournament. I think what we had accomplished, winning the preseason NIT, the caliber of schedule that we had played, non-conference, wins that we had under our belts. I think at this point we were up to 23 wins in the season. Our national ranking all year long, staggering ratings. You just couldn't select 64 better teams, even with some upsets in conference tournaments, to keep us out of there in my mindset. But obviously I wasn't on the selection committee because we didn't get selected. And I was greatly disappointed. I was disappointed for this particular group of young men. They deserved to be in the NCAA tournament, in my opinion.
When the NCAA named its 64th team and completed its brackets without the Bobcats, Hunter and his team didn't have long to wonder what might have been. For the second time in 5 months, Ohio prepared itself to go after an NIT title, the postseason tournament selecting the preseason champ for an encore. And as long as deja vu was all the rage, why not begin the second go-around with the Colonials of George Washington? Mike Jarvis brought his veteran ball club into the convo, bent on avenging an 82-76 semifinal loss to Ohio in the preseason NIT.
It's a tough opponent, number one, because of their program, and you know, you're having to beat somebody that you've already played, earlier in the year, and it's tough to beat anybody twice in 1 year. Fortunately, it was at home, and you know, I was really pleased with the way we responded. We came to play. They're a big physical team. They have those huge guards, and they're very talented, and they were much better than the first time we played them. And fortunately, we had improved also, and that's the way it should be. And we were fortunate enough to win that ball game and advance to the second round. I was hoping that that NIT committee would have maybe given us a little advantage because we won the preseason, and would have liked to maybe have had us back to New York, for that second trip postseason, and maybe give us another home game. At least I thought we deserved that, again because of record and what we'd accomplished and those kind of things. But nope, we had to go on the road and play at Iowa, and our guys again had a good frame of mind, and we felt like that, boy, we're getting a tough hand dealt to us, but we're going to overcome that. And we're going to go out to Iowa, and we're going to prove to people again that we deserve to be in the NCAA tournament, and we're going to get back to Madison Square Garden. And this is what we have to do it. And we're going to go play Iowa.
I think maybe that's the biggest key of anything, is just that we go to not be outworked. If we're in that mode like we've been at times, man, it's going to be a war out there. And that's the way it is. You got to assert your will over Iowa. They're trying to do the same thing with you, and you just get in that. And, we're a veteran basketball team. You've been there before, but you know you got to get in the trenches and get after people.
It's called character, and we had a very frank discussion at halftime. One of those halftime talks that you don't have very long, but where I challenged them individually, collectively as a team, and just how we were going to end this season. And even if we end it with a loss, we're going to end it being the Bobcats that we've been all year, and we're going to end it making a statement. And our guys responded. We went out and played a great second half, had an opportunity to win the ball game, and just couldn't quite get it done. If that ball game's at Athens, in front of our home fans, I really believe we advance on to the next round, but it was in Iowa City, unfortunately. Those are always the toughest moments. After your very last game, going back in to talk to your team, where you have to, in an emotional mindset, usually after a loss, not very many times do you win that last game where you won a national championship, although that's great fun, and hopefully we'll get there. But where you have to, summarize the season, try to say something that's really appropriate and meaningful to your basketball team that puts them in a good mindset when they're very, very disappointed.
Guys, I'm just as proud as the devil of you, man, and appreciate a great ride. It's been a great season, and I tell you what, second half there, you showed an awful lot of character. This is one of those real tough environments to come into to try to get one, and we were a little bit maybe too passive in that first half, but I tell you what, in the second half we went right at them, and they felt us coming at them, and it's just a doggone shame we didn't have another couple minutes to get the lead out there. But I'll tell you what, you were much better defensively. I don't know if we had any turnovers against the press in the second half. You didn't give them many offensive rebounds, and I don't know what they had at half, 40 43, and they didn't get 70. I know that. So that's pretty good defense in the second half. And just don't want anybody blaming themselves. Always can look at things that you could have done out there and maybe change a little bit better. But tell you, we got in a competing mode and we got some things done out there. And started with your defense. To our seniors, men, Jeff and Mike and Ryan, and love you to death. I think that's the number one thing I could say to you. And two of you guys have been with me for 5 years, and you've helped us really, really turn our basketball program around. And it's because of your play. It's also because of the great people that you are, and the kind of leaders that you are, and the unselfishness that you have. And I just can't say enough about that. And you go around, you give them each a hug and a shake of the hand, and sometimes a kiss. But it's also your last time you're going to be in that locker room with those seniors, and that have meant so much to you and your program. And you try to say how special they've been to helping you get to where you are at this particular point. So those things are all going through your mind. That's what's said in the locker room. But as I step away and you look to your coaches, or you try to get by yourself for just a few minutes before you go to the press conference, or gather your thoughts, great disappointment. Because we had a very special basketball team. And it's just unfortunate that we had some injuries that didn't allow us to demonstrate at the end of the year, and accomplish some things I really felt that were within our grasp. And that we could have maybe done some things with this team that a mid-major basketball team doesn't accomplish very often. And that you really become very, very special. And that was denied us this year because of losing Jeff Bowles and the injury to Gus Johnson and some of those things. And that's a hard pill to swallow, because you don't put yourself in those positions with those kind of players and that kind of team chemistry very often. But, a few days and that's by the wayside, and you're back at recruiting and you're back at work and you're trying to prepare to get there again next year. And, we still have some exciting basketball players in our program. And at this point, we didn't know if we were going to lose Gary Trent or not. It turned out that we did.
After speaking with Coach and my family, I come to the decision that on this day of April 13th, 1995, I'm declaring my final year of eligibility to enter the June 28th, 1995 NBA draft. I'm very confident in my decision. I feel I've done all I can at the collegiate level. And, I just want to move on to the NBA. I graduated on a Friday. 2 days later on a Sunday, I moved down here, and I've been with Coach ever since. And we've built like a father-son relationship. And I don't think no one here or Coach knows how much that has meant to me, And I've never told Coach this, but I'm going to say it publicly today, that I love you, Coach, like a father, man. And I'm going to miss playing for you. It's going to be weird, not to hear Coach screaming at me, or you're not doing this right, or what'd you do yesterday to get in trouble, or not playing in a convo. It's going to be I guess now, I'm 20 years old, now I'm taking off into the real world.
He's done an awful lot for our basketball program, and I think for Ohio University. And just seeing him grow the way he has in his 3 years here at Ohio University as a person, not only as a basketball player, but as a person. And realizing the potential that he still has, and being a part of all that, I guess, makes it very, very special and an emotional situation. And then to have him say what he did to me personally, that's hard to describe. What we've been able to accomplish the last 2 years in particular have taken us to another level, and certainly all the national exposure has certainly helped our recruiting. But if we have such a product to represent and to sell in Ohio University. It's always been said here by our coaching staff, and I think felt by so many people that know Ohio University, if you can get someone to visit campus, a prospect and his parents, sometimes they're taken back, they're aghast. But what really is here when you get around the campus a little bit, and the opportunities available that can be afforded them educationally, socially, facility-wise, it's more impressive than they ever imagined. And that's been the case. And now we had our program's elevated to the stature that, we're not just saying that we're going to get these certain things accomplished. We've gotten some of those things accomplished. We've beaten some top-ranked teams. Connecticut won the Hawaii Classic. We beat Ohio State at Ohio State, beat Virginia, won the preseason NIT. We're in the NCAA tournament. Those kinds of things are a part of our tradition and history now. And so now we have those things to put on the table as well as representing a tremendous institution. We can do nothing but, I think, get better. And we still have some unfinished business to take care of.
Right up until the final buzzer in Iowa, Ohio was on the brink, not just of advancing to the next round of the NIT, but to recording its second consecutive 25-win season. No Bobcat basketball team has ever done it. Who knows? Even with the departure of Gary Trent, Larry Hunter returns a very strong ball club with the potential to make its mark inside and outside of the Mid-American Conference. What does the future hold? Well, it's hard to imagine it being any more exciting than 1994-95. A season that began with the NIT and brought down the curtain with the NBA. I'm Frank Robertson. Thanks for joining us and coming along for the ride.